Elden Ring, nightreign. We played it by IGN. You ever saw the trailer for this? It's based on new Elden Ring title coming out, and some guys at IGN were able to play the game. I want to see how the game looks like personally. So here we go.
From the discovery of sprawling subterranean otherworlds to the startling second phases that completely turned the tables in so many of its boss fights, 2022's Elden Ring was a mesmerizing action RPG adventure that surprised players at every turn. Now, more than 2 years later,
It was a really good game. I beat the game 7 times, I think, total. I don't regret it. It was a lot of fun. The game was a lot of fun. It's still one of my favorite games. I still go back and beat the game every now and then.
it appears that developer From Software isn't done with pulling the rug out from under the feet of its fan base just yet. With the surprise reveal of Elden Ring nightreign, a standalone co-op spin-off that takes the cautious dungeon crawls of Elden Ring and turbocharges them into...
Ain't no way you doing this, dude. If you're playing like this, I'm sorry, but
a standalone co-op spin-off that takes the cautious dungeon
crawls thing in this game. Kill it. You know, other thing.
Of Elden Ring and turbocharges them into propulsion.
Oh, this game has multiplayer, by the way. Seamless multiplayer. There's no more that, oh, we gotta use the bell or we gotta use the bloody finger. Nope. There's seamless multiplayer in this. This is I think a 3-person game. I think that's what they said. You go back and you fight the old bosses. I'm pretty sure it's the premise. So in the trailer, we saw the guy on the horse with the guy on the dragon with the spear from the old Dark Souls games. There's also Bloodborne bosses. So Dark Souls bosses, Bloodborne bosses, probably Elden Ring bosses as well, and maybe Demon Souls. Maybe I don't think Demon Souls make it into this, but Bloodborne and Dark Souls are definitely in.
Slash and dash speedruns. After spending some 6 hours of hands-on time with this bold new spin on From Software's own Souls-like formula, I can confirm that nightreign is shaping up to be something truly unique. If Elden Ring was one of 2022's biggest chart-topping hits, then nightreign would appear to be its dance floor-filling remix. Chopped up, intensified in beats per minute.
If this game comes out, it'll probably win Game of the Year.
Designed to both excite fans of the original and broaden its appeal to the masses. Now, unfortunately, because it was such an early build of the game that I played, I wasn't able to capture any footage, even though it was running great on PlayStation.
I wish you guys footage, so I'm not gonna lie. It would have been awesome if we guys see footage of this, but if you can't get it, you can't get it. That's not on him. That's From Software stuff, you know. It's NDA.
PlayStation 5. So I apologize for the generic footage I'll be using here and also for my generic face. Anyway, here's how nightreign breaks down. Imagine stepping back into the opening area from the original game, only nothing in the landscape seems to be where you remember it. Also, there are 3 of you now, and everything seems to be happening at a much higher tempo.
So, it's I guess it's the same story as what he's saying, and then it's like completely different. I know I don't know how big the map they said it was gonna be, but it is a different map. It looks the same. It's same style. It's just a different map.
That's nightreign in a nutshell. You squad up with 2 other players at the start of each round, get dropped into a densely packed alternate reality chunk.
He said keyword that. He said each round. So is it a wave system or something? Because you talk about each round, that can mean a lot of different things. So I'm assuming from what he said, there's probably gonna be like a system where you have to complete a round of surviving or killing the boss, whatever the case is, then you move on.
Of Limgrave that has both its enemy types and structures randomly shuffled around at the beginning of each session.
Randomly shuffled. There's also another keyword, procedurally generated. So, somewhat procedurally generated. So they probably have like a structure spot, and you have a building that'll shift out maybe to something else, or that's you also get shipped out to something else. I'm guessing that's what he means by that.
And it's up to you and your squad mates to build up from your lowly level 1 character's status as fast as possible by harvesting runes and earning Destiny-style loot drops as you slash and dash through every enemy-filled camp that you come across. So,
it's like, you go in there with 2 other people, then you have to level up, to kill the boss. But what do you mean by rounds?
The big rush? Well, each session of Night Rain is structured as a 3-day cycle, with each in-game day taking about 15 minutes to complete. At the start of the first day, you can pretty much pick any direction to plot your whirling path of destruction along, but as day approaches night, the space you can operate in narrows, and you're liable to be killed by acid-like rain should you find yourself caught for too long beyond the perimeter of the rapidly shrinking circle on the map, known.
So, like, oh, you know what just came to my mind? It's like playing, what is it called? Battle Royale. Battle Royale. It's like playing a Battle Royale, basically. I'm
as
getting
the
at.
Ring of Rain. In that regard, Night Rain is a bit like Fortnite, only with more medieval forts and knights and considerably less TikTok dances. Once the Ring of Rain reaches its smallest diameter at the end
You
of the
dance
day, a
and
major
nothing
boss
dance.
fight is triggered. Like the rest of Night Rain's enemies, these end-of-day bosses are always randomized, and during my repeat runs, I experienced clashes with familiar returning foes like a draconian tree sentinel, as well as some brand new nasties like the centipede, a towering, twisting swarm of disgusting
So, that enemy's probably new, I'm guessing.
limbs, prone to detaching its body parts in an attempt to divide itself and conquer my crew. With the day 1 boss dealt with, day 2 begins and the Ring of Rain rescinds, allowing your squad to take a breath, regroup, and then resume ransacking the map for upgrades in preparation for the more challenging foes to come at the end of days 2 and 3. It's a structure that allows for a gradual build of tension before a palpable sense of accomplishment and
So,
release.
what I'm getting at here is, you go in with nothing, but naked, basically, what I'm getting at. Then you get your loot. You find loot like a Battle Royale, you know, when you open chests, whatnot, you get the loot. You have to level yourself up. But also, you have memory. Elden Ring has, I think, how many weapons does Elden Ring have? Let me look that up real fast. Uh, 308 unique weapons. And that also includes 31 weapon types. So there's 31 different weapon types, but also 308 different weapons in the game that have different what's the weapon type? Oh, here's just 33 categories. Alright. Google AI is lying to me. I believe 2game.com rather than AI overview. Not gonna lie. Okay. So there's 308 weapons in the game. There's 33 weapon categories. So you have heavy weapons. Um in heavy weapons there's also different weapons. Like the colossal swords, for example, you get bigger colossal swords, but you also got Radons colossal swords. So it's all different playstyles. So this could be a really interesting thing where you're being forced to try out different builds and see what outcome you can get to. I think that's unique because
With each
that basically makes you have to use all the different weapons in the game practically and get good at all the different weapons. You're gonna be really good at Elden Ring after you do this. Let's be completely honest.
boss felled. Over time, my squad mates and I became a well-oiled machine as far as getting the balance right between beelining for churches to snatch up valuable HP flasks and taking down the more major overworld enemies like dragons and hippos in order to get maximum XP boosts for buck before
You
the
struggle on hippos, dude. The hippos ain't that bad. It's just you gotta know how they do work. Go to dragons. Dragons are pretty easy in the game. They're kind of pushovers.
map was cast back into darkness. We were also able to eventually settle upon the best combination of heroes for our group. You see, Night Rain doesn't feature the lengthy list of generic character classes that the original Elden Ring did, and players won't have to Google the difference between vague sounding archetypes like the Prisoner and Wretch when they first hop into play.
The wretch is kind of self-explanatory because you get no stats and you can start at level 1. It's meant for you to build up how you want it. That's that's all it is. Prisoner, you just look at the stats, dude. Like, what do you mean you have to look it up? I even like you look at the stats and you just use a little bit of brain power and it's like, oh, the prisoner has this much strength versus you going good? What's happening?
Instead, Night Rain
My internet die? Uh Hey, we're good, right? Sorry about that. My internet died. Um, out of nowhere. I have no idea. I don't remember what I was saying. What the last piece I said was before everything went out. Yeah, I noticed on my Twitch and my YouTube was not working properly. I think it's good. Yeah, sorry about that. Internet shut off out of nowhere on my computer. Everything else is fine since my computer shut off. Alright. I don't remember what I was saying, but we're just gonna skip over that. I don't remember.
Offers 8 different heroes to choose from, each with very clearly identified strengths and weaknesses, in order to make it as easy to jump into as possible. 4 were playable in the preview build. Wilder is an all-rounder hero type with a good balance between speed and attack power. Guardian is a burly tank type with heavy attacks and increased damage resistance. Duchess is a nimble type with fast attacks and a killer quickstep ability. And Recluse is a mage type with ranged magical attacks. Additionally, each character...
Oh, there's basically just named the classes. That's all they did. They'll function the same way, I'm guessing. Just named it instead. Let me make sure it's good. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna look at something. Sorry about this. Alright, back. Sorry about that. I was making sure everything was good. Okay.
Character features a unique skill and ultimate attack that both operate on cooldown timers. Wilder is able to use his hookshot skill to either reel in smaller enemies like Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, or to quickly zip past the swinging arms of a major boss in order to sneak a few strikes in from behind. Guardian is able to conjure up a mini tornado to knock swarms of enemies off their feet, while Recluse can put a marker on an enemy.
Keyword there, swarms of enemies. So, on top of bosses, there's no more enemies.
So that every time that enemy is attacked, the damage is siphoned into boosts for her own HP. These unique abilities are all extremely useful in their own right, but finding ways to combine them with the special moves of your squad mates is key to surviving nightreign's toughest enemy encounters. One strategy that my squad grew to rely on quite heavily was to unleash a damaging ultimate attack on an enemy such as Guardian's swooping dive bomb, then immediately follow it up with...
What he's basically saying is there's skills in the game. We said ultimate ability. That means each class is probably gonna have their own ultimate ability.
Duchess's restage skill.
Also, I may have overestimated the weapons in the game because I said 308 different weapons, but it's probably not going to go over all the weapons in the game. So it might be a lot less than what I'm talking about.
Which basically creates an instant replay of the last attack landed and allows you to double the total amount of damage inflicted. It's in finding killer combinations of moves such as these that the co-op focus of nightreign really shines. And after multiple failed attempts, my squad was finally able to progress through to the 3rd day of the cycle, which climaxed in a fight against a snarling, Cerberus-like beast called Gladius, which forced my team to coordinate and queue up skills and ultimate attacks with painstaking precision in order to overcome it. Gladius is just the first of 8 major bosses to take down in nightreign, each with their own...
That's not bad, I guess. I mean, Elden Ring had 100+ bosses, something like that. 8 bosses, not that bad either, though. But a lot of the Elden Ring bosses were duplicates.
3-day cycle leading up to them. In addition to the randomization of enemy types and structures, further wrinkles will be introduced into each boss cycle, such as live volcanoes and forests full of rot, in an effort to prevent the landscape from ever growing too predictable. That's along with random events like meteor strikes, swarms of giant ants to fend off, and the surprise invasion of powerful tormentors like Margit the Fell Omen in an attempt to impede your progress.
Morgan's easy though. You can beat Morgan if you know how to fight him. He's not hard at all to beat.
In addition to the approachability of its roster of playable characters, nightreign has polished up a lot of Elden Ring's more abrasive edges to make it a far more friction-free experience. A new wall jump move allows you to quickly hop up and over steep sections of the terrain, while the removal of any fall damage means you can lunge off cliffs or down dark holes without pausing to study your surroundings for safe platforms. You only need to walk near a site of grace to top up your health and flasks, and if you want to
Thank you. Well, that's also because it's probably not regenerating everything too. So it kind of makes sense at that point. Because when you sit down and do it, it's like you want to do this because everything's respawning. But if it's not respawning everything, it doesn't make sense for you to just sit down to reflask, you know?
spend some runes to level up, you just button mash through pages of auto leveling that best suits the base traits of your chosen character.
So you don't have to do anything any work yourself. They have levels. They have automatic leveling, and I mean I guess that's fine, you know, because if you're playing a game with classes and they have stuff set up for the classes already, why we not just use those?
Rather than having to agonize over whether you should allocate a point to faith or dexterity, for example. It all gives each session the feeling of being shuttled along in an intense speed run, and you can get around even faster by using spectral hawks to vault across great distances of the map. Death is not necessarily the end in nightreign either. If you find yourself down, you have a near-death meter that appears above you, and your squad mates must attack you while you crawl along the ground until the meter is reduced and you can return to the fray. It may sound slightly odd.
You get down, and you can die when you're down still, so it's there to protect you while you're down.
To basically kick a friend while they're down, but it's a system that works quite well, particularly since you can use ranged attacks like magic or crossbows to revive a down squad mate from a distance without the risk of putting yourself in harm's
way. Right, so you have to hit your teammate to bring them back?
Should all three of you be wiped out at once, it's the end of...
No, what do you mean kicking your team while he's down? If you have to hit your teammate while he's down to revive him, who cares? He gets hit.
The session, and you must restart day one with everyone back at level 1. So you need to stay on your toes in order to keep the rest of your squad on their feet whenever possible. While there's no doubt that elements of it are inspired by the likes of Destiny and Diablo 4, it needs to be said that Elden Ring nightreign is not a live service game. Once you buy it, you get access to the complete package.
I'm pretty sure that was pretty self-explanatory.
And there are no battle passes or microtransactions.
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. The guy in the dragon with speed.
Transactions to contend with. It can also be played in single player should you wish to stay offline, with enemy health pools that scale down so that it's not too overwhelming for solo players. Although, curiously, there are currently no plans to allow players to play in pairs. As someone who has sunk hundreds...
That's weird. I think picking pairs do... I mean, they'll probably pick pairs, and let's be completely honest. Because if you... Why would I... Like, not all my friends play Elden Ring. Okay? I play Elden Ring. I love Dark Souls games. I played Bloodborne. I did all that. I played Sekiro, all that. But not all my friends like doing that. Not all my friends like getting meta games. Not all my friends like to play challenging games like this. Yeah, I do have a few friends to do that, but it's not enough, I don't think, to have, you know, a big party coming in. I have people to play with all the time on this. So, you know, maybe one friend, so pairs might be perfect for me, but it's a me thing. I would just have pairs and trios and single. Just get the option, you know.
Of hours into Elden Ring, both in the original 2022 game and this year's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, I can confidently say that From Software is onto something truly spectacular with nightreign. Cutting throats at breakneck speed with a pair of friends in tow has been a consistently exhilarating experience so far, and especially gratifying when you work together to topple its toughest bosses using each character's special abilities in tandem. Assuming the developers
so each character's special abilities, so your class will dictate your abilities, I'm guessing.
enough randomized elements to keep each 3-day assault feeling fresh,
We
then
said like Destiny 2 and Diablo, but toppling bosses with a 3-person squad is not really Destiny 2 and Diablo. I mean, you can do it in those games, but just because you can do it doesn't mean that it's like that. Like, I can do that in PoE 2, technically. I can do it with 6 people in PoE 2. But that doesn't really mean it's like those games.
Elden Ring nightreign could well provide an exciting change of pace for existing fans and an enticingly accessible entry point for newcomers when it launches sometime in 2025. So, what do you think? Are you excited for Elden Ring nightreign, or do you prefer things slow and steady rather than rough and ready? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to read my full impressions and get your
Alright,
fix
so
for
that's the end of that. That's a good video. IGN played it. They can't share Reddits of it, of course, because it's not even planned to come out until probably, let's be honest, late 2025, probably when we're gonna see it. He said he played early build, so late 2025 is my estimation on it. Estimate. Alright, so I think this game is gonna do really good, but I think it's obviously gonna be like the Elden Ring when it launched. Some people think it's a little bit too hard for them. It's fine, you know. These are not easy games. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I feel like um he said something. I forgot what it was about. There is a lot of quality of life features in this. Like he said, the class system where you can automatically allocate points to your class, basically, which is nice. So like you play a warrior, whatever he said that was. It'll automatically accolade allocate Jesus allocated to strength, dexterity, and health. I'm guessing in vigor. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting once it comes to. I'll play when it comes out, of course. I love playing Elden Ring. Love playing Dark Soul games. All that.